Welcome back to the Coach Tim Beck Show, presented by CDL Electric. Eddie Lomchek along with the coach, live at Chatter's Restaurant and Bar. Time to draw for another gift certificate here for a free breakfast, drink included, dine-in only at Fat Daddy's. Coach Beck will draw one Henry Busett. Come on down. And table wins a lot. Of course, they're here a lot, so it goes with the odds. Go play the Powerball, Henry, and see how that goes for you. Also, out of this second break on Monday nights, we give you the Vital Signs Trivia Contest. It's for the Gorilla Nation Mobile Fan Club. And if you are a member of this texting service, you'll receive a trivia contest sent to you via the text every Monday, a multiple-choice question. You text back your answer, and if there's more than one correct, they have a way to sort that out through a computer and then get a chance to win some things throughout the school year. And the question tonight, for the third time in 4 weeks, a Pitt State player earned MIAA Defensive Player of the Week. Spencer Worthington named the Co-Defense Player of the Week for 6 tackles, including 3 sacks against William Jewell. And the question is, what season did Pitt State receive the most honorees for Defense Player of the Week? Did it occur in 94, in 96, 01, or in 04? And we'll give you the correct answer later when we know the winner, and we'll pass that along to good members of the Gorilla Nation Mobile Fan Club texting service. To be a part of that, text the word Gorilla Fan, all one word, to 66937. You'll get to take part in Player of the Game voting all year in football and basketball, as well as this trivia contest Monday nights throughout the school year. So, Coach, you go to the end of the first quarter, it's 14-0. You did turn it over, and then William Jewell, again, they're trying to move out of their own territory and sniffing midfield and called a fake punt, and your guys are ready for that. So you get on certain parts of the field. I know you raise the awareness there, but how pleasing is that to see your guys recognize the situation?
Well, that's a point where instead of putting our punt safe team or leaving our defense out there, which we did later in the game, but that was a point where we, have worked on being aggressive with the guys that have the opportunity to maybe catch a ball. So at that point, the punter rolled to his left, and the gunner or the outside receiver was the guy that they were going to try to throw to, and we had doubled him. So Paul Robinson and Jake Catloff were working him over pretty good, so he never got off the line of scrimmage. So he really didn't have anybody to throw to. So it was a good execution by our guys, and then somebody's got to come off their guy and go tackle the punter, which they did.
Chaz came up and made the play, and you get the ball in great field position. You bring up the point there about doubling the gunner or not. In a play like that, when it's a fake, and they can try and hold him up at the line, where do you run into, from an officiating standpoint, worry about a defensive holding being called or pass interference?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we're trying not to hold, but we're going to be very aggressive on those receivers. And Paul Robinson does a good job of not letting people get released off the line of scrimmage. When he gets squared up and gets in somebody, he can be pretty aggressive and shoot his hands inside and get a good shot on them and keep them on the line of scrimmage, which some people have the capability of doing that. He just happens to be one of them. And then by the time he started to come off, then Jake gave him a shot. So kind of bounced back and forth. But, yeah, those are the things you worry about. There's a lot of, we take a lot of time kind of thinking what we need to do on punt block. And Coach Roth and myself kind of work with that team. But we like to double the gunners all the time if you could. The only problem is you're a little bit susceptible to a block down, kick out fake inside. Right. So you got to be careful on how much you do it. So last week we doubled one side, and then we dropped the guy out to try to help double the other late. And, again, if we just caught the ball in the air a time or two, we would have been probably a little bit more efficient.
Paul Robinson's a guy that he's moving positions, played mostly corner, and out one of those strong safeties for you. Second year in the program, at times maybe lets his emotions get the better of him, but what difference do you see in him at a new position now in his second year?
Well, Paul plays with a lot of passion, and he gets caught up in the moment every now and then. But there's nobody that wants to win any worse than Paul. He comes to practice very hard, plays very hard. But every once in a while, he just kind of gets caught up and has a hard time controlling his emotions a little bit. But he's a very passionate player, and he's a much better player than he was a year ago as well.
And then a backup kind of at that safety is Bryant Sanchez, and it doesn't seem like different players have different strengths, but maybe you don't necessarily lose that much when he's in the game.
You really don't. Bryant's a guy that, you don't think maybe he's going to be fast enough or strong enough or can't do this or can't do that, but he just goes in there and he's very productive every time he plays. He makes plays. And Bryant's been a nice surprise for us, and he came from Fort Scott Community College and had 3 years of eligibility left, so we still have him for another year, and we're thankful that we have him for another year.
What did you think of his fashion statement at Truman with one red sleeve and one gold?
I wasn't really excited about that, but you know, we'll hopefully get that squared away. But,
We liked it from up in the booth.
he does stick out.
Yeah. Well, some guys got to be me, you know, the Dennis Rodman effect, if you will. That's where it all started. You get the stop, you go down and score after the fake punt. Bryce in a 3-yard run, just a gaping hole into the end zone. Another example where you've been pretty good, it seems like, complimenting one side of the ball with the other.
Most of the time up to this point, we've taken advantage of our opportunities when we get them, and hopefully that'll be a big key this weekend, is being able to complement each other.
Bryson in there for his second touchdown run. You get another stop. Jewell picked up a first down, but you get the ball back at your own 32 with minute 22 to play. You had 2 or 3 timeouts left, so you had the good 2-minute drill at Truman, a chance to execute it, although it ended in a missed field goal. I'm sure you'd like to get a little closer. What did you see in there that maybe – and Anthony Abinoa, of course, came in, but good experience for him, I guess, regardless.
Yeah, it really was. We moved the ball, you know, pretty good there for a minute. We just kind of got stalled out and had a field goal attempt that we just missed. But, you know, it was a really good experience, good work for us. You know, we worked that situation either at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. So it's good for him to get in there and be in that situation. And you can see he's really got a gun for an arm, so he can throw it around pretty good.
You know, and it's a game that before the night's over, you played about everybody. You don't always get into those. The MIAA is so competitive. There are not going to be a lot of 49-7 games, but a lot of guys work hard. I know you've been very high in your recruiting classes the last couple of years. How rewarding for those guys to get on the field on a Saturday?
Well, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. It makes things go a lot better and a lot smoother. And there's still going to be guys that didn't get to play maybe as much as they wanted, this and that. But, you know, it was very important to get those guys in there and let them get some plays, because we haven't had a game like that in the last 2 seasons. Last season, every game was, you know, we either got beat by a couple of touchdowns or it went down to the wire. And so we really never got a chance to play with many of our twos unless they were injured or something. So it really helps you as a football team to be able to play as many people as you can like that.
You know, and your 2 quarterbacks, Zach can really beat you with his legs. Anthony has the good arm, and you see him run it a little bit the other night and make a pull here and there. But how helpful is it just to get one game on film for a guy like that?
Well, it's really important. And again, every play he can get like that, if something ever happens to Zach, which knock on wood, hope it doesn't, but if something ever happens and he has to go in and, you know, thrown in the fire right now, at least he'll have some experience under his belt. So every play we can get him, the more plays we can get him, the more comfortable he'll be. And so we had thought about, we were going to try to put Anthony in a series earlier, I believe, a series or 2, but Zach had thrown the interception, and we didn't want to do it after that, so we went ahead and came back with Zach one more series before we put Anthony in.
Well, it was a good drive, just hooked field goal there a little bit. So 41-yarder, not a chip shot, and the wind pushing it maybe a little bit as well. 21-0 at halftime. What's your mindset there?
Well, just we want to come out and be very efficient in the third quarter. You know, take control of the game. You know, I know all return teams have talked about watch the onside and watch the fake punt and watch all those things. So, you know, that you knew there was a chance they were going to come out and do something like that. But, you know, just take control, continue to do what we've been doing defensively, and let's go score some touchdowns. Let's get everybody in the game.
Well, it did that early. You do get the surprise onside. They kind of botch it. But I talked to you up in the booth that you're not supposed to be able to do that kick, right, where you outrun the ball and make contact before the ball goes 10 yards. Is that the rule?
The rule is you're not supposed to be able to go block those guys if they have an attempt to go get the ball.
Okay.
But once again, it's one of those things where they have changed it back and forth a little bit, and I'm not sure it's ever called anymore. And about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a big emphasis on that, and now it's just you kick it and you're gonna go block somebody, you go block them, and so you know it's something that we need to consider on our team as well.
Well, because it looked like the kicker was trailing the ball, and he's just going to kind of hover over it until it goes 10, but fortunately it did not. You score on the first play, Zach, a 37-yard run, and started one way. He ends up coming back all the way across the field. What'd you see on that one?
Well, we were putting Eric Love in motion, and he didn't let him get quite all the way across, and Eric was supposed to arc around the end and go get the support player, so it ended up being a little bit messed up.
Was that the snap that almost hit Eric in the head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that was a snap. And so, again, he just didn't let him get all the way across there. And so, you know, it's one of those things where they over-pursued. Next thing you know, he cuts back, and then there's not anybody there. So it was a good play by Zach.
Wide open into the end zone for a 28-0 lead, and taking control there would be part of a big third quarter for Pitt State to eventually put that one out of reach. We'll take one more break, come back, we'll put the wraps on the William Jewell game, and eventually look forward to the Fall Classic with Northwest this Saturday at Arrowhead. That and more when we return on the Coach Tim Beck Show, presented by CDL Electric.